afternoon, Bahamas, and welcome to the Hit Back. I'm your host, Nahaja Black. It's a beautiful Thursday, y'all. It is the 10th of May. The 10th of May has one major significance, and it's not the one that you're thinking about. This was the day, many moons ago, decades ago, when we had one of our vessels sunk by a Cuban missile. And that we saw 4 of Bahamian soldiers, 4 Marines, lose their lives in that tragedy. And today, I can't remember, in all honesty, this is terrible of me that I can't remember. I think it's, Richard, what is the name of the ship, do you remember? HSS Flamingo. And so we lost lives that day. And of course, so we would really love to just extend our sincere pride for our soldiers, our men who lost their lives for this country. And a moment of silence, one of those things where we do not take into account the fact that we do have men and women as armed forces. So just briefly, a moment of silence for the 4 men that we lost maybe 30 years ago. I can't remember the date. Also, something special. Last year, this day, many of us were in election fever. Last year, this day, on the 10th of May, last year, this day, we were standing on lines complaining about the slow movement. We're complaining about all of the ins and outs of what is going on, complaining about the secretary, what is it, the surgeon, something general. Why all of a sudden I can't remember all of my information? Because I have this guest in front of me that has me a tad bit excited. I guess that's why. But what was so interesting is that in this time frame, in this day a year ago, we were voting for the new government of the Bahamas. This day a year ago, we voted in the Free National Movement. We voted in a government that, with a landslide victory of 35-4, took over and is leading us. And I would have had no other guest, other than the Prime Minister himself, than this young man who's sitting before us, or before me in studio today, because he has definitely been making waves. Some say tidal, some say tsunami. Others are just saying little crushes along the sand, right? But this gentleman, in the past few weeks, and actually from his tenure, I remember first hearing him in the House regarding the Commercial Enterprise Bill. And remember him saying distinctly, I would not have expected this level of discourse from folks on my own side, when he was addressing the House, talking about the Commercial Enterprise Bill and getting a pushback and somewhat, in my estimation, being ridiculed a bit by his own side. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to welcome the one and only Pastor Frederick McAlpine, Member of Parliament for Pine Ridge, in studio with us today. Welcome, Pastor McAlpine.
Thank you so much for having me, Nahaja Black. It's just a pleasure to be here with you and the studio audience on 106.5 Star FM. And it's just a pleasure. I'm just so delighted. I'm hoping for those of you who are listening, I'm trying to see if I can get this on my page as well, so that you can follow us if you want to actually watch. But I know many of you are listening, and it's just good to be here. And it is 1 year later since the general election, and so I guess I should declare and begin by saying, this is the day that the Lord has made, and I shall rejoice and be glad therein.
Indeed, and we will get you sorted out really quickly with regards to this link. If you want to follow, though, feel free to go ahead and follow us on Facebook. Right now, we're streaming live at facebook.com/hitbackshow. So feel free to find us there, facebook.com/Nahaja Black Show. Pastor McAlpine, first things first. Well, other than the welcome, are you an FNM? Are you a member? Are you a Free National Movement team player?
Yes, I am a Free National Movement member. And I think that's good to start there.
Yeah.
Because the Free National Movement was built on democracy, freedom of speech. Do we remember the late Sir Cecil Wallace Whitfield, Kendall G.L. Isaac, Jimmy Shepherd, These were people who were always outspoken. And let me say this before we go any further, lest we forget. This is a democracy and not a dictatorship.
So shouldn't you, but with that said, and that's a great statement. It is a democracy, but there are certain norms established within government, right? We have found that folks who tend to speak out against party or their own side and calling light to things or saying, listen, I don't like the way this is going, folks end up being pariahs. A case in point, people are saying, is Freddie McAlpine trying to be the new Andre Rollins? Look at Loretta Butler. They have been excommunicated from the party. Are you trying to be excommunicated? Or
No, but you remembered them.
I did.
You remembered them.
Yes.
And most people will remember. Let's add to that list. Rollins, Butler, Carlton Francis, Loftus Roca, who else? Hubert Ingram, Perry Christie, people who stand up, Edmund Moxie. And then there's some people who went to the house and you say, oh, were they there? Because they did nothing. They said nothing. They just went along to get along. But history will record at the end of the day, the very names that you call, they stood for something. Greg Morse. You may call them what you want to call them, but at the end of the day, you remember them because they stand out in your mind and in your hearts to say, you know what? They were fighters. They stood for something.
But does it matter that you would stand for something and still not be, would you consider them effective members now?
Well, I consider myself effective even more so because I'm not fighting for Frederick McAlpine. I'm fighting for the people. What can you say that I've said that has ostracized or taken the party to task?
Well,
Now, watch this. Watch this. Yeah, the party or the government? Because if you're talking about the government, you're not talking about all of us in Commonwealth of the Bahamas. We have a responsibility. There's a difference between party and government. We just happen to be the party that's in government. But once we have the hat on of government, we are to govern. And there is no PLPF and MDNA or independence once you are governing.
That's an interesting philosophy, and I want to say this. It is a refreshing one to hear from a member of parliament, so I think most listeners will say this is refreshing. Others will say, is McAlpine trying to get attention? Is he trying to be a cabinet minister? What is your agenda?
Let me, the people, let me get this point clearly. Am I trying to be a cabinet minister? I am from the church. If God wanted me in the cabinet, I would have been there. Obviously, he did not lay me on the heart of the prime minister to put me there. But let's be honest. I'm doing far good outside of the cabinet than if I were in the cabinet. So I'm not trying to get attention, and I'm not trying to get a name for myself. Nahaja, you know me. For years, I've always had a name in the church, and I've had a name in politics. So what am I trying to do now that I've not been doing? I get it. You want me to tell the truth on Sunday as a preacher and say something else or be a stranger to the truth on Wednesdays. Oh, I get it. You want me to speak out when I was in opposition, and now that I'm in government, I must go along to get along. Let me give you a scripture from the book of Proverbs. Many seeketh the favor of the king, but it is the Lord God that will judge us all. Let me say that again. Many seeketh the favor of the king, the prime minister, but it is the Lord God that will judge us all.
You're not seeking the favor of the prime minister?
I will respect the prime minister 24/7, 7 days a week, 365 days, and in a leap year, 66. Worship, however, belongs to my Lord. And unfortunately, too many politicians have become worshipers of leaders, and too many people in the Bahamas have worshiped politicians.
And so now we are seeing, this is the Frederick McAlpine that you would say that has always been. Should anyone have expected differently from you?
You know, because you know what they will actually say to you? People in Grand Bahama have said it. I've heard other preachers say, well, one thing I can say about Mark, he has not changed.
What is it And we have this one. You're just tuning in. You're listening to the Hit Back with Nahaja Black. Pastor Frederick McElpine, Member of Parliament for Pine Ridge, sitting in studio with us today on the anniversary, the 1-year anniversary of the new Free National Movement administration, government here. What would you say, Pastor McElpine, is your focus and purpose? What you would say that God has given you as your agenda for these next few years?
I'd like to see politics in the Bahamas as we know it change. We're dealing with a different crew. This is not the crew that comes to you from the Sir Linden, you tell me I believe it, the sky is pink, so we all know it's blue, we look at it and still believe that the sky is pink. This is not that generation. This is the generation that will look you in the face and tell you, okay, so use PLP, use F&M, okay, but what must I vote for them for? These the same people who kick you in the behind, mommy, daddy, you want me to go vote for? These the same people who you was up and down campaigning for and can't even see that somebody in here got a job? So I want to change politics as we know it. This worshiping, this cowardness, this arrogance. We are all human beings, and we must treat each other as human beings. Listen, Nahaja, I don't care if you call me pastor, or you call me right honorable or honorable. I want you to know, I'm not better than you, and you ain't better than me. And you must always remember, and those of you listening to me by radio, nobody's better than you. But you always remember, you ain't better than nobody.
What did you think of the Prime Minister's address or his message in their service last week, where he spoke about the party, where members of the party should not be speaking against or untowards the administration?
Well, I'm not speaking again. I'm not trying to speak against the administration.
But when you say,
let me. I'm going to get to your question. If you ask me a question, as I am first a preacher before I'm anything else, even in my own house, I am first a Christian, then a father, a husband, a uncle, whatever. I am first a preacher. If a reporter asks me a question, and I'm going to be honest, I should seek to answer it honestly. People are tired of BSing and bull skaters. That's the Christian version for what I really want to say. And so people are tired of that. So if you ask me a question, I must be honest to answer you. But I think people have also forgotten what is the role of a backbencher.
What is the role?
The role of a backbencher is to represent his or her constituents. That's what it is. If you look it up, even in the Westminster system, you're there to represent the views of your constituents.
And you represent the view of your constituents?
And to hold the government's feet to the fire. Now, if I sat in the capacity of a cabinet minister, parliamentary secretary, then I would have some other obligations. It just would be that I would be doing the same thing, but in another forum. I am working from the forum that I'm in.
So the forum that you're in would be defined as?
Backbencher. Backbencher.
You are fine being called the backbencher.
I'm supposed to hold the government's feet to the fire. Not only that, we have 35 members, inclusive of myself. You could get lost and drunken, intoxicated with power in there, you know.
I know.
You got to be able to create some balance to this thing. So everybody must go one way. Listen, you got to be able this is a time of, as they were saying in college, you got to be critical thinkers and analytical about, you can't just tell me, even today in the church, when you tell somebody, we grew up in the era where they tell you in the church, you must be born again. I said Jesus told that to one man. You must be born again. He said that nowhere in the other gospel. No, that's the only place in John. You tell people today, you must be born again. When they tell us that, we cry, we go to the altar, we cry, we snorty up, we save now. You tell a person today you must be born again. You know what they tell you? They ask you, what is that? What does that mean? And when you break that down, then they say, how do you do that? Now, how does that equate to the reality of where I'm at today?
Yeah, I was about to ask you
Yes, and so this is where we are with politics. Politics is not the same. You just can't say, everybody go left. Everybody go left, okay. I'm the leader, so everybody jump. But here's the point, you got to be careful. Sometimes politicians will tell you to jump, and all of their cronies sitting down.
Okay, but hold on.
But they want you first to jump.
Hold on, Pastor. So let me ask you this then. Is the intoxication already set in within the party?
Oh,
Are you saying that are there
no.
members that are already intoxicated? Because there are very few voices of dissent.
If I be honest with you, there will be people who have told you throughout this country, since people got elected on May 10th, many of them have changed.
And you've seen this with your own eyes?
I've seen it. I mean,
your colleagues have changed?
Some of them, not all of them.
What percentage would you say?
A good number, more than need to be.
More than 60% have lost.
More than need to be
because
up on this high hill. And a lot
there's
of
very few dissenting voices.
And because, listen, let me also say this. Sitting right in the House of Assembly, let me also say this, Nahaja. Some of the people in it, that's the most money they make in their life. And perhaps will ever make in their life.
So then we fall in line?
You think so?
So you would fall in line then? Because you were getting this good check.
Some of them will be singing for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. It is sad, but it is reality.
So can the people trust this government?
Yes, there are people in the no. Listen. Let me rewind. Rewind.
I'm just asking that.
No, rewind. There are a lot of people in the Bahamas prior to May 10, 2017 have lost confidence in government, period.
But can we
this is
confidence in this one?
And let me also say, this is not just a national thing. This is global. Governments globally are not afforded
I've
by
heard the
their
Prime Minister say this. I've heard the Prime Minister say this.
There's a lack of trust.
This sounds like a party line here, but
but there are.
Can we trust?
There are things in the party that I actually do fall in line with.
Okay, but now going back to, because I'm building based on what you're saying.
Can
we trust this administration if folks have already found themselves in the mindset of falling in line? We are now intoxicated with power. This is the most money I will ever make. I am going to keep my...
No, that's not for everybody, but that's for some person.
Quite a few. It's not for everyone, but for others, it is. Can we trust that the individuals that make up the whole of this administration, that the majority will protect the interests of the Bahamian people?
If they hold to their convictions, if they have convictions, and if they have principle.
And that is not a yes.
That's not a yes. And let me be honest and say to you that I have always stated, the reason why I'm speaking out isn't to name and shame the government, to which I'm a part of. It is to get us to do better. Constitutionally, we have 4 years. Tell me what I got to do. Why would I do this if I didn't mean well? I'm saying you got 4 years. Let's fix this. Because if we don't, Mama said hard head make bad soup. You know, the Bahamian people ain't playing.
What do you hear in Pine Ridge? What are you hearing from your constituents?
Well, Grand Bahama's even a whole nother kettle of fish. Because Grand Bahama's really in a very bad economic state. But we're hoping and praying for a turnaround. People are, and I'm being honest, and I don't know why they want to limit it just to Pine Ridge. I mean, you're asking a question, but I'm saying this for the radio audience. People are disappointed all around. And if we say anything else, we'll be like, I brought the paper here. Today's Guardian, I'm on page 3, and you see this, McAlpine, F&M, first year disappointing. So I said that. Okay, that is what I said.
And you meant it.
But it's not the first time I said it. When we did the story with the speaker, I stood up then and did what I had to do. Okay, so let's say you say McAlpine is, let's take McAlpine out of the equation. I'm picking up the Tribune now, today's Tribune. We go inside. Well, we expect Rugged Island Member of Parliament, he's PLP. But tell me, what does it have to do? I go to page 4, the Tribune. And here's a columnist, F&M, making comedy too easy.
They are. They are making
Go on
comedy.
over to another columnist, slow start, but now building momentum. What's that saying? But the way you started ain't nothing happening right now. Hope you get on track. Here's another writer, promising signs for the F&M. Promising signs for the F&M. Oh, it ain't reaching. Ain't reaching. Right. So what is McAlpine saying that you're not hearing out there in the street?
You're disappointed.
Many, and in other words, and let me tell you why I'm disappointed. I'm disappointed for the people.
What do you think the people's disappointment comes from expectations? What were we expecting, do you believe, that would breed or result in our disappointment?
Let me tell you something. We won on the backs of the common man and the mass majority in this country. We're yet to say thank you significantly by doing something majorly that all of the country can applaud. First budget year, okay, albeit it's PLP. But regardless what you say, all people are going to remember is you approve airplane parts, you approve washing machine and dryers for businesses, you
approved work permits of 14 days.
Yes, but what did you do for the average man? You did not even take the VAT. Don't tell me, well, it was the PLP budget. We in government. So if the finance department wrote something, you say, yeah, I hear all of that. But in addition to that, cancel this and put this in, breadbasket items. Take the VAT off.
And this could have been done a long time ago.
And that would have been so good, because that would have been our way of saying thank you.
And we remember you.
Yes.
We're here for you.
All right. Now, 1 year later now, you are going to give me breadbasket items. But you're going to include brown rice, salmon, cashews. Who that for? So you can't even bless me without blessing them. But you could bless them without blessing me.
Well, my God. Hold on. This is where I say...
That's deep, huh?
That's too deep.
Okay? So in order for you to do something for me, the common man, you got to do something for the upper class. Rather than saying, I know we all need to eat healthy, but how about saying, this first year, this for them, but next year, I want you to know we're getting healthy, everybody. And instead of forcing me, why not persuade me? Educate me as to the importance of eating healthy. But oh no, right out the bat, breadbasket items, brown rice, salmon, cashew.
They're trying to save
get rid of the...
Trying to save the Bahamas, man.
Yeah, that's good. And all in its place, and it's right. But again, I say, you can't just love me by loving me, the people. Can't
where I am,
and then say, but like I said, you could bless them up top. And when you bless them up top, you ain't remember me down below.
You can do
now
that right
that
away.
you can bless me down below, you still got to bless them up top. Come on, man. And so what we could have also done, take the VAT off of insurance. I done got to bury my dead and still got to pay VAT on funeral insurance. What about education? What about school books?
So those
are things that
we could have easily done.
Easily done. And now you tell me we'll have a tax-free zone. I understand that. But if I live in Life Fort here out east, and you got a tax-free zone, and there's a tax-free zone for shopping, well, where you think I send in my butler and maid to go shop for?
Thank you. See, and this is so you.
These are simple things.
Okay.
You know, we could just sit in a room and talk about it.
So it's not been talked about with the rest of you? Are the backbenchers out of the decision making?
Well, we have what is called a caucus.
And who's a part of this caucus?
All of the parliamentarians. Unfortunately, sometimes we don't discuss what we really need to discuss.
So many of these matters that you're speaking about now, you've risen those things within caucus?
A lot of things. Well, some of this today, we haven't even gotten to the table. Some stuff you hear it, you hear it sometimes when you hear it. Yes, but again, I say, all the answers is not around the cabinet table. So sometimes you need to talk to people.
Are the answers that we're getting, the administration
and we bring
they're
it
not
up,
talking to the right people?
I mean, even now, okay, I understand the legis. But what you coming with? Marital rape? Really?
I can't wait. We have to go to take a break.
That's a different kind of fish. Because I don't even want to go there today.
But you brought it up, though, now.
No, but what I'm trying to say, there are things that, I mean, it seems like, okay, this is what I really want to say. I should not just drop that there. Let me rewind. Let me put it this way. It seems like, and I've been saying this message, things that seem to be important to the people don't seem to be important to the politician. And what's important to the politician isn't really important to the people.
But indeed, it's the people's time. Am I correct?
It should be.
Do you feel as if it is? Based on the
it can be, so far. But so far, plenty of people don't feel like it's their time.
Is it a different
you have to understand, people still losing their houses. People losing jobs. One of the things I'm grappling with, and I have to bring these things out so people can get a clearer picture and view as to why I've been thinking the way I'm thinking. I had to grapple with it. Some of us hit a little talks in the street. A husband and a wife, two different entities, and perhaps known PLPs. Both were fired the same day. You mean you couldn't keep one on?
And both were known?
Both were known.
So something's wrong with that.
You fire both. You ain't worrying about if they got school fee or children in school, away in college. Both were fired the same day.
You would have done it differently.
Yes, because I would have made some inquiries. But I think it might have gone beyond inquiries.
Do you think that it was politically motivated?
I don't know, and I don't wish to say, but y'all do the maths.
You're listening to The Hit Back with Nahaja Black, Pastor Frederick McApie, Member of Parliament for Pine Ridge, and overall ambassador for all things Bahamian, I see. Right here with us in studio. We'll be back. We have a lot more after this.
When I look, I see one bunch of cars parked outside Pinder Tile, so I gone in. He had a whole yard layout in one bright 2-foot by 2-foot white tile. I said, Pinder, why you got everybody park outside? He said, 2 reasons, Lampkin, stand back. I said, if I stand back, how I can talk to you? He said, come then, but get ready to stand back. I said, what's going on? Lampkin, SpaceX is getting ready to launch one of them rockets. We could go more than once, and they're coming this way. I called the SpaceX fella to tell him that he could land the rocket right here instead of in the middle of the ocean. I tell him, say, I got some 2-foot by 2-foot double-loaded crystal white super hard porcelain that could take the chafing, and so bright they'll be able to see it from space. But I say, why, Pinder? He said, to show everybody that if these tiles could take that size, 12 wampus is a joke.
AID features Napa Auto Parts which meet or exceed OE specifications. Parts for Asian vehicles are available at great prices. Filters from $2, brakes from $22, tie rod ends from $21, head gaskets from $10, and fuel pumps from $32. AID is also your destination for the best selection of automotive accessories. Hubcap sets from $22.45, steering wheel covers from $4.50, car mat sets from $8.45, and seat covers from $34.44. Wipers, wash and wax products, motor oils, and automotive chemicals for every vehicle. Angle grinders from $44.53, pressure washers from $162. For the month of May, Napa chassis, steering, and suspension parts are 15% off at all AID locations. AID is now open Monday through Saturday, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. and Sunday, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. AID, Blue Hill Road and Wolf Road have all you really need and more.
I need your help with something.
Fire.
Okay, I can give you a hypothetical situation.
Fire!
That's all you could say? Fire?
You could give me the situation or what?
Okay, right. Suppose you did drop off some clothes to Superwash, and when you did go on to get them, and you did go on home, you did find out that you did pick up the wrong basket.
And? Because I know this going somewhere.
And you realize that little beautiful black dress that fit you so perfect looked like it was made for you and yours because you did pick up the wrong basket.
I ain't gonna say nothing yet. I can let you finish.
I finish.
You wanna know if you should carry the clothes back?
Maybe.
Of course you should carry the clothes back. You want the Aguila call the Metropolitan Police, eh?
Well done. Remember now, I say it was a hypothetical situation.
Everybody should know that if they ever get anything from anywhere what ain't theirs, carry it back.
This public service announcement was brought to you by
Superwash. It washes your presses, it cleans you 24/7.
Good health starts with a healthy lifestyle. So visit Healthy Lifestyle Center in Delhi, located number 231 East Street, south of Wolf Road near Andros Avenue, and enjoy our scrumptious vegan or vegetarian cuisine served Monday to Friday. Also, check out our health store where you'll find a variety of organic products and herbal supplements for your every health needs. We open on Sundays until 3 p.m. Call us at 322-8314 and let us get you healthy again at Healthy Lifestyle Center and Delhi, 322-8314.
Hi, I'm Dr. Danny Johnson. Tune in Sundays 4 to 5 p.m. here on Star 106.5 FM. Join in the national conversation. Re-examine the Bahamian dream. Let's see what gives us our strength, our courage, our character. Take another look at us, then, now, and contemplate what's next. Join us here for the Bahamian Review. Proud to be Bahamian.
You're listening to the Hit Bag with Nahaja Black. So far, fiery conversation with Pastor Frederick McAlpine, Member of Parliament for Pine Ridge, and seemingly overall ambassador to the small man who doesn't want salmon. So it's just a great show so far. Pastor McAlpine, thank you again for being here.
Thank you for having me.
One of the interesting things that were said, coming to the end, saying that we do the math, and we are, again, following, if you want to follow us live, we are streaming live on Facebook, facebook.com/Nahaja Black Show / you could do Nahaja Black Show, or you can do Hit Back Show. Pick one of the two. Yeah, and it's coming on. So you feel free to watch us and follow us that way. Of course, you can call in. We'll have the lines open at 5:30. The line numbers are 328-8164, 328-8165, and you can also feel free to text us at 431-1605. We do take texts. If you are following us on Facebook, feel free to leave your comments, questions. We'll read them out, and of course, text. You can text anytime during the show. Well, here we go, Pastor McAlpine. You hit on some heavy stuff, and very much, I think, a narrative that many Bahamians are saying. Who was representing us? You brought up some very interesting points in regards to seemingly the special interest groups, or the bigger groups or the smaller groups with bigger monies tend to get what they need first, and the average Bahamian and the poor and middle class, we are still waiting for someone to notice that we put you here. When are you going to serve us? Not be in power of us, but to serve us, the electorate.
We need an economic emancipation.
Indeed.
That's the struggle now. It's no longer racial, but it has to do more now with class and economics. And they put you in a certain class. You're not from our elite. You didn't go to our Ivy League college, and you did not attend our schools. So therefore, those of, people like to say, well, I'm from over the hill. Yeah, but when last you been back from over the hill? You made it from being over the hill, but since you moved out to Lightfoot Key, and since you've moved to Paradise Island and out east, you don't come back, except when it's political time. Then you want to tell us where you're from. You want to identify. People are tired of that. People are tired. We're not even getting, in many instances, the crumbs that fall from the table. Let me give you an example. One of the things that we're talking about that we're very happy about, we're saying, here's the reality. The economy has grown by 1.4%.
For who?
For who? Because certainly the average man don't feel that 1.4%.
Well,
and if you ask the average man...
That's our income.
Wow. But if you ask the average man, and this is the important question that I need my government to comprehend, and don't get in a pickle and tissy, and don't get feeling bad and thinking I'm throwing shades. The multi-million-dollar question that we need to ask and answer as a government introspectively: is the average man in this country better off today than he was 1 year ago when he went to the polls?
What would you say?
The answer to that would be, for many people, far too many, no. And in addition to that, not only just no, but in some cases it's just not. It's worse.
It's worse.
It's worse.
We've seen a shrinking even in what normally would have funded some people, which would be government contracts to clean the street, the sidewalks, this kind of thing.
It's worse. It is what it is. Now,
can we do better?
Yes.
Do you see the
and
will
this is why
to do better?
Now, that's a different question altogether, but hold on. Yes, we can do better. We ought to do better, inclusive of myself. We can do better. You know, it's the problem that's killing this country, seriously, for a very long time. We are too comfortable in mediocrity. We embrace mediocrity as opposed to embracing and falling in love with excellence.
Do you see the will to do better in the party, in the government as it stands today?
Let me ask the question. Let me.
No, you can't answer the question.
I can't. I'm not a question. So here's what let me be philosophical and try to, ask a rhetorical question. Do we have the will to do better? I ain't make this kind of money no time in my life and probably will not make this money again. And if we stay on the trajectory that we will probably lose. So if I'm an average person who embraces mediocrity, what am I going to do?
Stay with the status quo?
That's your final answer?
Well.
Okay. Thank you very much.
So now
moving right along.
No, we can't though, because that one is too good to move away from. So there could be latent will. That's what we're saying, that deep in the hearts of these men there might be will. However, the status quo,
I'm looking for some people with conviction, with guts. Some people who will stand up and say, I will not eat the king's meat today. I'm sorry. I'm not going to bow today. Nebuchadnezzar, you might be king, but that goes against my biblical and Christian principle. Can we find some more of those persons? They're there, some are there.
So is there an underlying, is there a known conversation among the backbenchers? I know the cabinet, we've seen some cabinet members try to stick their head out and immediately get knocked back into place. Johnson, by the way. So we've seen that level of movement, of shifting, but are there more persons like yourself who just don't have or are not brave enough to come forward and say we can do better?
Let me say, may my grandmother, Mrs. Florabelle Penn, soul rest in peace. I am also, by the way, for those of you who don't know, I am the grandson of Captain Simpson Penn, 1st Company Boys Brigade. And what Mama would say, every smile ain't happy, and every shut eye ain't sleep. And another philosopher said, all that glitters is not gold. So there are people right there, they're not happy. And here, this ain't nothing greater than the Ghetto News Network, We all hear the talks. We all know. I try to tell my leader at the end of the day, and I must say this publicly so that some persons can get a better perspective about me. And I say to my leader, I'm not the one you have to worry about. When McAlpine stands up and speaks, you know how he's thinking. When you leave the room, you know what McAlpine is thinking. If McAlpine says he can vote for you, he can vote for you. He may cuss you in the process, but he'll say, I can vote for you. But while I'm telling you I'm voting for you, I'm telling you I'm voting for you, but this is what I want you to know. Don't worry about Mark. You need to worry about them people who ain't cussing, ain't making no noise, but they thinking like Mark and maybe even thinking worse than Mark.
Do you see there's been talks of coup and sabotage?
I hear the talks like everybody else.
And the Ghetto News Network works?
The Ghetto News Network. Sometimes the ghetto is prophesied.
My Lord.
They's prophesied.
So is the ghetto prophesied?
I don't know, but sometimes they's prophesied. They tell you something, you say, that ain't so.
Well, and
then you'll be like, wow, that didn't matter. I hear that people saying that, But
we're good church folk. We say that prophecy should be confirmation.
Confirmation.
Was that confirmation?
No, I'm not confirming or denying anything. But what I will say is is that if we don't get on the people's agenda, when for rude awakening, listen, and I want this because you got a group out there on social media, blame somebody. I know, that's as far as I'm aware, tearing me to pieces. I'm telling you the truth. Beating me up publicly and privately is not going to change the minds and the views of people. Now, let me tell y'all, let me give y'all another dose of reality. The Right Honorable Hubert Ingram is sharply politically astute.
Hubert Ingram?
Yes, Hubert Ingram. Perry Christie may not be as sharp and as astute as Ingram, but he got something.
Okay.
And they, with all their political wit, couldn't get a second term for the last almost 20 years in this country.
That's right.
Now, you believe if we continue in the trajectory we go in, we can get another term? Anybody who is, Nahaja, anybody who's trying to say to you, you look good, and you know you looking bad, and you yourself know you looking bad, the person who's telling you that can't mean you well.
Is not your friend.
Not your friend.
Are there many enemies for the leader right now in the party?
What I would like to include cabinet ministers. Tell my leader the truth.
So we don't have many truth tellers. More cheerleaders?
Tell him the truth. Don't tell him what you think he wants to hear. Tell him the truth.
What is the truth? That we are failing? That they are...
The truth is people are not feeling us as they felt they should. It's been 1 year. I hear everybody say, yours is only 1 year. But in 1 year, I've never seen the popularity of a government go down so quick and so fast. And why y'all picking on me? I didn't go out there and work for public domain to take the survey. What is McAlpine saying that is not being said? Oh, because McAlpine's saying it.
And you're in the House of Assembly. You're breaking with tradition. Now let me ask you.
But tradition needs to be broken.
And
people voted for radical change, not more of the same.
Something very interesting has happened within your Grand Bahama. We've had the Oban fiasco. That's what we call it. The Oban Chronicles, the mishaps of Oban, but yet we are still moving forward with it. You said something very interesting in the news in your calculation of math, which I thought was fantastic in your description of saying this can't be it. We can do better than this because we're talking about something that's environmental, but how many jobs are we going to be getting for what is the investment? And I wanted you to reiterate your position on is Oban for you a good move or deal for Grand Bahama?
No, it's not. Environmentally, it's not. And I have questions about Oban because, you see, since I did that, I said to them, when the oil refinery in the Western District, in the port area, was in its heydays, it had 1,000 plus. Since I made that statement, Oban has come back and said they will have an additional 1,000 jobs. Like, well, why couldn't you tell me that before, the first time? So it really boils down to, and I asked the question, 600 jobs in 10 years, that's 60 jobs a year? You're going to destroy. You have the possibility of destroying seabeds, air, wildlife for 60 jobs in 10 years? Well, I tell you what. Give me $1 million personally and see if I can hire 60 people in 10 years.
But this has been touted as one of by Peter Turnquest, the member of Parliament and Minister of Finance. This will go on regardless. This is going to save.
Oh, I don't know.
Freeport. This is going to save Grand Bahama.
Grand Bahama needs saving, but not at the expense of killing folks.
And you foresee that?
Well, if you check online, oil refineries have been doing major damage to the people that live in an environment where oil refineries are.
I was told that even on your street as a child.
Yes, right there in Hawksbill where I grew up. The Western District, the oil refinery, is now not an oil refinery, but even today there's oil in the water. Even today people are sick. Cancer, air. Now, they've said they did some study that said that's not the case. We hear what you say. But because you said pen can stand still and anybody could write on it, doesn't mean that we believe it. And so we recognize. And then If we're going green, and my government is a government talking green, why are we talking about fossil fuel? Why aren't we? If the global world is trying to move away from fossil fuel, we 50 years late. And furthermore, again, why do you need to build a refinery in the eastern part of the island when there is all the infrastructure for one in the west? Why not just purchase that?
Why not? Why do you think we haven't done? Why do you think
I don't know.
this is going on?
I don't know. But what I do know is that Grand Bahama needs an economic injection, but not at expense. The generation to come is going to be hurt by that. Our children will be hurt by that project. Yes, we need jobs. We need more than 50 and more than 100. Yes, 50 and 100 is a good start. Like they say, the journey of 1,000 miles begin with one step. That's just one step. We'll take the 50 jobs, we'll take the 100 jobs. But we need something that's going to put at least 2,000 to 3,000 people to work in Grand Bahama. And ladies and gentlemen, it's like we say in the church, I'll hold on to this till that gets here. And so you may not want to hear it, but you want to put 2,000 people to work? Open up the darn hotels.
Now, we've had that discussion. That's been a discussion that has been going on.
If you open up the hotels, you'll guarantee at least 1,500.
What do you know about why we haven't been able to open up the hotel?
I don't know what's taking so long. I don't know.
What information can you tell us in regards to the process of the sale?
I don't want to say, because this is a sale that's been going on from we got into office. See, from we got into office, we got in office in May, and our statement was made in June. By December, the hotel will be open, and people will begin working immediately on fixing or restructuring or renovating the hotels, and we'll be ready for December. It's almost December again. So I guess they mean this December. Furthermore, there were several people who came to the table, and we're right back dealing with the same people who the PLP was dealing with. Now, they say it's a better deal. All that might be so, but I thought the people we was dealing with them wasn't. So we're right back where we started. So that's another thing. People still see more of the same.
They're still seeing the same
sleight
of hand.
So you be right back with the same people who we didn't think it was good to do business with. I guess we in bed with. Oh, let's put the same people the PLP was in bed with. They're the same people we're in bed with for the sale of the hotel. I quite frankly don't care at this point. I just want it open. Put the people to work. But my job, my first preference would have been buy the hotel. Buy the hotel and flip it. Let somebody else purchase it from you, but at least you control the sale. You would have gotten people working, got an injection going. You could have worked your deal with the Sun Group, the Sunwind group, which would have flew people in, and you could have worked your deal. But you could have, we gave, in all honesty, 100 from the last government regime and 100 from this regime. We gave the Bank of the Bahamas a bailout. We just gave them $100 million.
Yes.
Well, I would have forgiven you if you had given Grand Bahama $100 million to buy the hotel, fix it up, and put the people to work.
But yet we continue to bail out.
And while we bail out the banks ain't bailing out the people. They're still losing their houses.
So we have we've lost our priority. And then, well, actually, some would ask Pastor McElvine, maybe we have never been the priority.
That's questionable. But we promised to make the people the priority. Did you hear the slogan?
But we didn't say which people we were making priority.
It's the people's time. We've never had a slogan like this at no time. Handle it. Step now to the new frontier. Better.
A matter of trust.
A matter of trust. This one was about the people.
Maybe it was about the people and getting the vote, not about the people to actually execute. Do you feel as
I hope we can, though, Nahaja. I hope that as opposed to my government thinking that I'm naming and shit, and then fighting and beating me up, like today. I mean, today, if you read the social media, that grouping, all you did is infuriated me. I was being nice all along. Now you making me talk and say things so that other people out there gonna know. So that's the real deal.
A government for the people, by the people, Pastor McAlpine. What would you see it do? You mentioned quite a few key things that you would have done in your first year. What you feel as if the people would have clapped at and said, yes, we feel the government is working for us. What would a government, in your vision of a government for the people, by the people, what would the Free National Movement have done if they wanted to win the hearts of the Bahamian people?
The first problem that I think we need to do, and I'm getting to this to answer your question, any government should pick 5 things that they think is important to the people and use that to get through. If you get through 3 out of 5, you did good. But let it be 5 things that would affect the masses. The first thing would have been the economy. People's pockets were hurting when we came into office. Take some pressure off of their pockets. Don't charge people VAT on medication. Don't charge people VAT on books.
But the PLP left them broke. So that's the story. We needed to pay off all of these extra debts, plus borrow $1.4 billion more.
But even if that is the case, because one time you was even thinking and talking about repealing VAT, which I don't think would have been a good idea. Take away, these are what you call compassionate concerns for the poor. I struggling to bury the poor and to bury my loved one, and I got to pay VAT to the funeral house for these things. I would have then looked at, see how I can, and then you probably have more people participating. Then I would have looked at immigration policy. That's another. That's something important to the Bahamian people. Okay. Then I would have tackled the economy, immigration, education, healthcare. You can't tell me we broke. This is why I got in trouble with the Dominica thing, you know. You can't tell me we broke. How I could be broke and want to buy $200 liquor bottles? You broke and you saying, oh, we're going to open the door to let our neighbors come in.
But we're broke.
We broke. Send them some money as a seed faith offering. And say, thank you very much. You did this for us. Here is what you did for us. We're going to give you back what you gave us with a little extra. And our prayers are with you. But you want to bring folks in. Let me tell you something. Our beds, Bahamians can't find bed in the hospital. But what's worse, the beds are oftentimes filled with persons who are not Bahamians. We can't get our children in the school in the neighborhood we live in.
That's right.
Because the school has a registry of persons who are non-Bahamians.
Burdening the system.
Yes.
Taxing on the Bahamian taxpayer.
Yes.
But we're not addressing those things.
These are the things so even if the economy is in bad shape, you told us about the Freedom of Information Act. Put some teeth in that. Even if the economy is bad, let's show people we're serious about recall system. You can't let me tell you something. That's the one piece of legislation I don't think my colleagues want to bring. And hopefully by me saying it now, they want to prove me wrong and go bring it, which will still be doing good for me. Because if you put the recall system in,
members of parliament will work.
And guess what? Many of them will be recalled.
Right now. Will be recalled right now.
And I can guarantee you Frederick McAlpine wouldn't be one of them.
Boy, Pastor McAlpine.
The people, listen, if it's up to the people to do the recalling, McAlpine wouldn't be in the number. But if I have to wait on the upper echelon of the party, so people say, aren't you afraid you could lose your nomination? This isn't about nomination. No, let me put it this. This isn't about renomination. This is about Bahamianization.
Hey.
And anybody thinking about renomination at this stage of the game don't have their
priorities
in the right place when it comes to the Bahamian people. So these are the things you should have been looking at. The burden, lifting the burden of tax. Focusing, you need money for that. Focusing on immigration and getting it right. Give consideration to the economy, the
Education.
healthcare, and then see how we can go back to, because even though we boast about our tourism numbers being up, we're still behind many of our counterparts in the region.
One of the things that
Something has gone wrong with our videos.
Pastor McAlpine, and well, we're still good.
Okay.
It froze a bit, yeah. We'll get it sorted out. One of the interesting things, and if you're just tuning in, you're listening to the Hit Back with Nahaja Black. The lines will be open on the other side of the break. The numbers are 328-8163. 328-8164, 328-8165. Pastor Mac, you seem to have no problem with saying what you have to say. Without any concern for recourse, you are a man who speaks candidly, and folks will say that this is a tenet of Pastor McAlpine. I will ask you this before we go to break. And we are having just a minor technical difficulty. It'll be resolved very quickly with regards to our Facebook stream. The one question I'd ask you before we go to break, and I want you to answer it after we come from break, because I was actually thinking about this answer, and I want this to be one of those that you'll ask an answer on the other side of the break. How important or how strong is the leadership of the Free National Movement as it stands today to lead the Bahamas, the Bahamian people, to a better tomorrow?
That's a heavy question.
You're listening to the Hit Back with Nahaja Black. We'll be back with Pastor Frederick McAlpine, Member of Parliament for Pine Ridge, right after this.
Been up by Enterprise the other day, and he asked Dave if he had any lettuce. Fella say, not yet, but some should be coming up after the rain. I got some chicken eggs. Fella say, I'm not want no eggs. I'm want lettuce. Fella say, sorry, Chief, I can't help you. What you mean you can't help me? Lampkin say, you got everything up here. So Dave said, I do. Everything related to village. Well, you could say you got everything, but you ain't got lettuce. Fella getting mad now. I don't have lettuce because this ain't no food store. Homeboy getting mad now, too. He said, well, I wouldn't be going to a food store hiding for lettuce. Bitches, why I'm here? Fella say, come show me the lettuce. See it right there? The white lettuce. I'm want 20 lanes of white lettuce. Fella say it's called lattice. Fella say lettuce, whatever. That's what I'm born.
I need your help with something.
Fire.
Okay, I can give you a hypothetical situation.
Fire.
That's all you could say? Fire?
You could give me the situation or what?
Okay, right. Suppose you did drop off some clothes to Superwash, and when you did go on to get them, and you did go on home, you did find out that you did pick up the wrong basket.
And? Because I know this going somewhere.
And you realized that little beautiful black dress that fit you so perfect looked like it was made for you and yours, because you did pick up the wrong basket.
I ain't gonna say nothing yet. I can let you finish.
I finish.
You wanna know if you should carry the clothes back?
Maybe.
Of course you should carry the clothes back. You want the Aguila call the Metropolitan Police, eh?
Well done. Remember now, I say it was a hypothetical situation.
Everybody should know that if they ever get anything from anywhere what ain't theirs, carry it back.
This public service announcement was brought to you by
Superwash. It washes your presses and cleans you 24/7.
AID features Napa Auto Parts which meet or exceed OE specifications. Parts for Asian vehicles are available at great prices. Filters from $2, brakes from $22, tie rod ends from $21, head gaskets from $10, and fuel pumps from $32. AID is also your destination for the best selection of automotive accessories. Hubcap sets from $22.45, steering wheel covers from $4.50, car mat sets from $8.45, and seat covers from $34.44. Wipers, wash and wax products, motor oils, and automotive chemicals for every vehicle. Angle grinders from $44.53, pressure washers from $162. For the month of May, Napa chassis, steering, and suspension parts are 15% off at all AID locations. AID is now open Monday through Saturday, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. and Sunday, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. AID, Blue Hill Road and Wolf Road have all you really need and more.
Good health starts with a healthy lifestyle. So visit Healthy Lifestyle Center and Deli, located number 231 East Street, south of Wolf Road, near Andros Avenue, and enjoy our scrumptious vegan or vegetarian cuisine served Monday to Friday. Also, check out our health store, where you'll find a variety of organic products and herbal supplements for your every health needs. We open on Sundays until 3 p.m. Call us at 322-8314 and let us get you healthy again at Healthy Lifestyle Center and Deli, 322-8314.
Hi, I'm Dr. Danny Johnson. Tune in Sundays 4 to 5 p.m. here on Star 106.5 FM. Join in the national conversation. Re-examine the Bahamian dream. Let's see what gives us our strength, our courage, our character. Take another look at us, then, now, and contemplate what's next. Join us here for the Bahamian Review. Proud to be Bahamian.
And now back to Hit Back. Afternoon Talk on 106 Hits.
And we're back. You're listening to the Hit Back with Nahaja Black. Pastor Frederick McAlpine, Member of Parliament for Pine Ridge, is on the air with us. We have a lot of persons on the line. But before we get to that, to our callers, I would like for the pastor to please answer that question for me. Where do you see the state of leadership now in the party to lead us to the Bahamas that you see?
Everything rises and falls on leadership, says Dr. Miles Monroe, the late Dr. Miles Monroe. And I would think that in this dispensation, we need to stop looking at one man and looking at a team. And I would have expected the team to guide and to acquiesce to the leadership as to where the people would want us to go. I think we've had this, we say democracy, but this dictatorship thing has been going on for a while. I'm the leader, follow the leader, follow the leader, follow the leader. You can't, everything isn't about following a leader. Because if you always you follow the leader, sometimes leaders can go contrary, even as a pastor. Sometimes I got to check and recheck and make sure is that's the right way to go. Real leadership is about being able to hear difference of opinions and being able to decipher. Leadership have to understand that they're not omnipotent, they're not omniscience, and they're not omnipresent. And so once leaders can recognize that they're not God, there is wisdom in the counsel of many. And so if the Bahamas want to get to a better place, we need to start getting our leadership to listen to others.
Now I have to ask now, Pastor McAlpine.
Okay.
Do you find that our leader, our Prime Minister, is he a listener?
Yes, he can be.
He can be,
no,
or is he?
No, everybody hears. That doesn't mean everybody is listening.
But that's why, is he a listener?
So I'm hoping that he is a listener. And I'm hoping that he will be better at listening in the year.
I love your answers, Pastor McAlpine, because I'm hearing exactly what you're saying. Even though you're trying to use words like hoping, and you expected for the team to have been. So in past tense, they've failed in your expectation in terms of the team.
Yeah, I can't put everything, when it comes to the Bahamas, you cannot put everything on leadership. You have to depend on the team.
Is the team failing the Prime Minister?
I don't know. That's yet to be determined. Or is it the Prime Minister? What the country is trying to find out, which I'm also trying to find out, because I would not be privy to this information, is it the failure of leadership? Or is it the failure of the team? Or is it just sabotage? Which is it?
And which one do you lead to?
I don't know.
I'm going to ask anyway.
You're going to ask. But I'm not going to answer.
I know.
So, but very good. Good try. But I
don't
understand.
Worry. I'll keep going. Don't worry. That was the last time. But we have some callers on the line. Callers, thank you so much for holding. Welcome to the Hit Back. Feel free to ask your question.
Pleasant good afternoon, Nahaja. How are you?
Good afternoon. It's good to hear your voice, my brother.
And Pastor Michael Pine, pleasant good afternoon to you as well, sir.
Good afternoon to you, sir.
I want to firstly say, Nahaja, if I may, if you'll indulge me, that it's refreshing to have I don't even regard the pastor as a politician, to be honest, but as a leader and a member of parliament and I don't think it's just the appearance of this ubiquitous clandestine fraternity. It's very refreshing, sir, to hear you call a spade a spade. It's been missing for far too long in our politics or in our governance anyway.
Thank you, sir.
My question for you, sir, is I heard what you said just now to Nahaja's question as it relates to leadership and listening and so on and so forth. If for example, you were of the view, and you've been vocal publicly on some things that you're pleased with and not so pleased with, if this trend continues with, or your conviction says to you that we're heading in the wrong direction, and I'm putting you on the spot here, there are some things that are available to the members of Parliament when they feel, I guess, that confidence is lost or the direction that we're heading in is not the right one. If it came to that, sir, just like you've been so vocal, is that a position that you're prepared to take if you feel or your conviction leads you to the place that we are heading in the wrong direction?
If we're heading in the wrong direction, in my convictions, what I'm trying to do right now is to make change within. You know, there are many husbands and wives who live together and really are not together. But then when they recognize how they have invested in a home, they can't walk away. And so the reality is the house that is called the F&M, I helped to build it. I'm not going to walk away. Some people are sitting around the table because I fought for them to be around the table, whether it was in 2007 and up until now. So the reality is I helped to build the house of the F&M. I'm going to try to fight to change within. Now, if they throw me out, that's another story. If they think that I'm no good, that's another story. But you've heard the saying, one man's garbage is another man's treasure.
So even if you, in this misses the illustration that you use, you put up new cabinets, the missus pull it down. You put down new flooring that's necessary, the missus pulls it down.
Then
What do you do then?
Then we're heading to divorce court.
Thank you, caller. Okay. I think we have another caller on the line. So let's go straight to that. Caller, ask your question. How are you?
Yes, sir. Good evening to all.
Good
evening.
You know, what I like to say is that investment system different from that of the UK in that in the Bahamas, the vast majority, right, of our parliamentary caucus is in the cabinet or serving some board or something, but through the pleasure of the cabinet. You see, and that's the problem. See, Mr. Michael Pine could say what he needs to say because he's not a member. He doesn't serve at the pleasure of anybody. He serves at the pleasure of the Bahamian people, and that's the issue. You see, what we need to do is advocate for the parliamentarians to be paid decently. Say $100,000 a year that they get paid with, on those boards, plus their parliamentary salaries. You see, and we need to advocate where they should not be in the executive or hired by the executive. You see, and that's an issue. We'll never get proper representation that we're getting from Mr. Malcolm Pine. I know why Mr. Malcolm Pine could survive, because he's a minister.
Thank you, my brother. You want to respond to that?
No, that's his opinion, and I thank you for your opinion, and I understand exactly what you're saying, sir.
Some would say, you can feel free to get again to call 328-8163, 328-8164, 328-8165. You can also text us at 4311605. Your criticism of the administration, and folks would say this, you're being very critical of this administration. That's what folks are saying. That as a member of the team, and I've seen this personally, I've seen it where folks who have been critical, who are Free National Movement members, are upset that they are being critiqued by their own. I understand that this is party politics. Very annoying to me personally, because it seems as if we can't get past our sides to focus on the purpose. But nonetheless, you find yourself being a voice that is a dissenting voice, that is contrary to what is the norm. And I brought it up earlier, what is considered the norm of process, right? Now, here's the question. In your critique, has there been anything good where you can say we are moving in the direction to which you are hoping?
Well, first of all, you talked about team. This is a good time, especially when you have the NBA playing. Listen, I'm a good player. The coach has benched me. They only call me in when they need a 3-point rally time.
Are you Robert Horry?
When they won't win, yes. When they won't win, they probably call me in. And see, what I'm saying is, I feel like I'm being treated just like the Bahamian people. You only know me when you need me. Now, you talk about a team. But what about when you are a good player and you're capable of playing and everybody in the stadium know you can play, but they refuse to let you in the game?
What game do you want to be let in? A cabinet game?
Hold on. So if you don't let me in the game and I have to revert to now saying, and this is what I'm going back to somebody else, if you don't want the brother in the game, if you have a good player and he has potential and you know he has potential, what do? Trade him, eh? So either you want him to play or you don't want him to play. And so I'm simply saying is, so oftentimes we disregard people and their talent and their ability, and then we still want them to bow down and worship. And so at the end of the day, what I'm simply saying to you, I see me being able to say to my coach and other team players, good, I'm not playing, you're playing, I'm on the bench. Well, let me tell you something. Because I am on the bench, I could see what you can't see because you playing. I can hear what the people in the stands are saying because you playing. Now you're mad because I'm telling you what, listen, coach, you got your starting players. But I'm telling you, this is what's going wrong. This is what's happening. And I have an interest in the team. And so I'm telling you now.
Are you trying to be the coach, though? Or are you trying to be the back? Because the backbencher, their job is to clap and applaud and cheer the team on.
Yeah, but that's what it's supposed to be in Bahamian politics. But in Westminster system, it's to hold the team feet to the fire. Make sure that the constituents are getting what they're supposed to get. So what am I doing? What I'm doing is going to cause two things for the Free National Movement. Either they're going to move swifter or they're going to do better. Now,
or they can just get rid of you somehow.
Yeah, but even that don't matter. I'll still be critiquing the team. We got 4 years at this.
So for 4 years.
So it don't matter what you could do. If you throw me out, I'm still going to speak for the people. But I just want you to know, if you're thinking about throwing me out, I want you to also think about Tennyson Wells and Pierre DePuge and Hubert Ingram and Perry Christie.
What does that mean? That you'll arise from like ashes from like a phoenix, you shall rise?
It simply means that there are options in Bahamian politics today. This ain't the politics of yesterday, and even they survived, eh?
What are you hoping?
Somebody else
I like what you said, the two things. The two things, either that the Free National Movement will do better. Or
move faster.
And which are you hoping? For both?
Both.
What is the other option? Because the other option is that nothing changes and you continue to be considered a
Well, I will continue to speak up and speak out.
What about the Over the Hill project by the Prime Minister? Many would say that's a good initiative.
A very good initiative, moving in the right direction, but we got to be careful of gentrification. Because what's going to happen now? I don't want the businesses. First of all, if you go over the hill, most of the businesses over the hill are not owned by Bahamians. That's number one. So who can benefit from this again? Number two, are you going to have the rich come in and buy up all the property, then fix the property and kick the people out who are there now? And number three, if you're going to be a tax incentive area for me, like I said, I live in Lightfoot Key. Where you think I send in my maid in Butler to go shopping for groceries?
In the tax-free zone.
Okay. So it's a good initiative. We just have to work out the details.
It's a good initiative, but
no, good initiative.
A good idea, probably poorly executed?
We're in the right church. We just got to find the right pew. And then something else. Why is it going to take us till 2025 to build toilets? To get out of this outside toilet thing. We done been in another election by then. You know what I mean? We can't. We give $100,000 for the bailout of Bank of the Bahamas for politicians.
100 million, yes.
Who didn't pay their bills.
Mm-hmm.
That we're paying off for them. And they go scot-free.
Mm-hmm.
But yet we can provide a little money to change these outside toilets or to put pressure. And that's another thing we could be doing that could help the people. We need a environmental court and a bill that deals with slum landlords renting to people in these adverse conditions.
You don't see any of these things. I mean, sitting in...
I hope I'm making some kind of sense.
Yeah, no, you are. And I think most people would agree that this is definitely refreshing in a world where everyone is singing the same tune. And just to hear another note being played or sung is definitely different, right? And for those who are tuning in, you're listening to the Hit Back with Nahaja Black here on Star 106.5. Pastor Frederick Michael Pine, Member of Parliament for Pine Ridge. Some would say, and I'm belaboring this point, because I think we've hit on a lot of topics, and there are more that we could touch on, and we just don't have the time. But I'm belaboring this point because I truly believe that people, just as they did with Andre Rollins, and he fizzled out, and now we don't know where Dr. Rollins is. His passion hasn't died out. I know he's a Bahamian, a nationalist, but his political career, people would say, is done. It's mashed up. They would say that the political career of Loretta Butler Turner is gone, mashed up. But Renwood Wells, he knowed how to toe the line. He's now in Parliament. He's now a cabinet minister. Are you not jeopardizing whatever future political career? Because I've even had the Dame Joan Sawyer on my show. And she said that sometimes you just got to fall in line.
Yeah.
In regards to Ellsworth Johnson, that hey,
but I think that the judge situation with my colleague was a little different situation. But yeah, sometimes you do have to fall in line. But falling in line don't mean compromising your principles. I'm not prepared to compromise my principles. But yet I hear you about Andre Rollins. But again, I said you remembered him. Moss, you remember him. I won't say that Rollins' career is over. He's still a fairly young man. He can come back. We've seen politicians come and go and return.
If you find that you...
But how is it, though? I want you to bear this in mind. Renwood Wells did the same thing. And it took an Andre Rollins and a Renwood Wells to even save my present prime minister from a situation, and they were doing the same thing. Now, I'm not going to burn the bridge. And so for those of you listening to me as part of the party, I'm not trying to burn a bridge. I'm trying to clear it to allow some people to walk over who deserve to walk over.
Like who?
Like people who have been fighting for this party for years and still can't move forward. What are we making new millionaires, or we just continue to empower the same millionaires? We're enriching the same people. Bring some people along. How is it that we get up, we walk, and this is what I'm trying to say to some of my colleagues. Man, you're going up there, Before May 10th, you was eating corned beef and sardine too. Now that they put you in a position to eat steak, you don't even want to give the people a piece of chicken leg? Them same people you walk on to get up, you're going to meet them on the way down. And then my fate is in the hands of God. Naja, God is my source. Everything and everyone else is a resource. God is my source. So at the end of the day, if God wants me out, I'll be out. And if he wants me in, I'll be in. My faith is in God. And my fate, F-A-T-E, remember this? Minister Wells, is in the hands of the Bahamian people.
As it stands, you are in your purpose, you believe. This is what you are doing is what God has given you the boldness to do.
He has. And I hear people saying it's refreshing, but to me, they don't understand. This is ministry. This is ministry. And I often move in the prophetic. So what you see now happening is like Elijah having to deal with King Ahab and say, listen, this is what the Lord's saying. This is what's going on here. This should be about the people, not about us. This is what we promised. Why am I wrong for reminding you what we promised? Why am I wrong for saying this is what we supposed to be doing? This is what you said. Remember now, my leader went away in Peru. He talked about us being corrupt. And we all know Peru is one of the most corrupted nations, but don't put that on him. That was the theme of whatever he went to deal with for that time. But then when he returned and the media asked him, his response was, I would rather be punched in the face with the truth than to be kissed with lies. I'm now saying,
are you
to the
raining
party,
blows on the Prime Minister?
No, I'm now saying to the party that I'm a part of, following the stand of my leader, I would rather us, as an organization and a government, be punched in the face with the truth than to be kissed with lies and demoralized at the poll come 2022 or before.
In my head, all what you've been doing here, to use all of my Bahamian vernacular, seems as if you were raining blows on the Prime Minister and your party today.
No, that's...
Is that because this, effectively, you are, Pastor, throwing mega blows.
No, but they're not mega blows.
To the comfort of the party.
No, to the comfort of the party.
Yes, to the comfort of the party.
Okay, so watch this. Is it that, or is McAlpine following the mandate of what we said we were about during the campaign? Accountability and transparency? Is Mac really calling us to account and to be truly transparent? That's what I think I'm doing. I'm not trying to name and shame the government. If anything, I'm trying to get them to go in the direction that the Bahamian people desire us to go in.
This is the end of a year, and I think we wanted to make sure, I think my producer's saying something to me I'm not able to follow. Someone says, congratulations to Pastor McAlpine, you're sounding like a DNA. It is the DNA that talk about creating new Bahamian millionaires.
No, I'm not trying to sound like a DNA. I'm an FNM who expose certain views that are exposed throughout the community and the nation.
If you find, and because we've seen it especially within the last tenure of the former administration, and with this Prime Minister as opposition leader, we found factions. We found the breaking of what is considered neatly packed party or House of Assembly, where members would cross the line or members would defect or become independent. We've seen this happen. What would be the straw for Frederick McAlpine that would make him determine, I cannot be a part of this institution?
That would be something I'd have to pray about. I'm still trying to create change within rather than walking away.
And it's more effective?
Because we've often heard people just walk away. I'm trying to fight, change this thing. People need to change, and the problem is we need to change in both parties. Need change from within. We must stop this archaic, self-indulgent type of attitude. We are the servants of the people. We're not here to be served.
What was your most, within this year, the one thing that you were proudest of being a member of Parliament so far this year under this administration?
The fact that murders are down. It doesn't sound like the wild, wild west. I don't hear 3 and 4 murders a night. I've got to wake up in the morning wondering who got shot. Is it anybody close to me or close to you or family members? So the wild, wild west factor of killing and murders on a consistent basis every day in a week, that is one of our greatest accomplishments this far this year as the Free National Movement.
Greatest disappointment?
We haven't done more for the Bahamian people in general.
In the year that's coming, what would you hope to see?
More emphasis put on the people. It's the people's time. Show the people that. And in order to show them that, once you show them that, they should be able to feel that.
What is on the table now that you think you would see? We would probably. Is there anything on the table as far as you know?
I like the white paper for the Over the Hill. I just think we need to.
We have some unanswered questions.
Yes, but it's a good idea. I'd like to see the VAT removed off of some things like insurance, medication. These are things we talked about during the campaign, you know, funeral. I'd just like to see VAT moved off of insurance. Just things I'd like to see.
You've said you expressed your feelings clearly as ever with Oban, in regards to Oban. You've spoken about immigration issues and intimating that we have not come even close enough to dealing with it. Where do you stand? And before we go, I have to ask this question. I saw a flyer talking about we've addressed immigration by addressing the shanty towns issue. Do you feel as if we've addressed anything?
That's not enough. We're going to have to deal with Article 7 in the Constitution. We're going to have to make it a little bit more easier for people to recognize as to who can be a citizen and what can determine one to be a citizen in this country. We're going to have to find a way to deal with these undocumented people who are here, and we're going to have to rules and regulations. And documenting them might also mean, because you're documented and you're here, may not mean that you have the automatic right to vote.
Okay, last question, Richard. I know we're out of time, but this person told me that they had to ask this question, and I finally got it. Says, hi there, Mr. McAlpine. This has been on my mind for quite some time, but I want you to know it was quite honorable when you had commended Dr. Michael Dowell for being a worthy opponent, and I've noticed he has yet to say anything unflattering about you ever since you've been in office. Are you two on friendly terms with one another outside of politics?
Yes, but politics sometimes can put a dent, but it will. Dr. Dowell is a very magnanimous opponent. He's a good man, and he's done a lot for a lot of people, particularly in his medical and political profession. And so Dr. Dowell, I'm sure we've not seen the last of him.
Pastor Frederick McAlpine, member of Parliament for Pine Ridge, but I guarantee you, he's definitely an ambassador for all of the regular folk. I don't think you made a lot of friends, but I know you also added some enemies today.
Yes.
Are you ready to go back into the House of Parliament?
Yes, I'm bold. The righteous are as bold as a lion.
We haven't even touched on anything regarding the speaker's comments. You know, your good friend Miriam Emanuel and her roughing him up.
Yeah.
But thank God for only 90 minutes.
Yes,
Lord saves us, right?
Yes. Thank God for saving grace.
Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you for having me. And thank you, Bahamas.
And we hope to have you again very soon.
Thank you.
All right. You're listening to The Hit Back with Nahaja Black. I hope you guys enjoyed it as much as I did. Tomorrow, we are live from Cartwright, and it's a very good Mother's Day weekend. So come out and join us tomorrow, live and remote at Cartwright. Again, Pastor Frederick McAlpine, member of Parliament for Pine Ridge, in studio giving us a magnanimous show. I like that word.
Thank you. Thank you. And let me take this opportunity to say Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers in Pine Ridge, Grand Bahama, and throughout the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. And happy anniversary to this government as we continue to do better in years to come.
Fantastic. Everybody have a blessed day. You're listening to The Hit Back with Nahaja Black right here on Star 106.5 FM.
Hitback is brought to you by Pinda Enterprises, AID, Superwash, by Healthy Lifestyle Center in Delhi, by Checkhart, Beyond Flags, and Windsor High School at Albany.
This is Hits 106, Nassau, the Bahamas.